here.
Right.
But yeah, so we'll talk a little Canes with Malik coming on up. As far as the Jonathan Taylor watch, that's supposed to be today's supposed to be deadline day with these two. I mean, it's not really it's just it's a deadline the Colts put up. According
really,
to
then let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You think anybody is taking a deadline that owner gives seriously?
I don't take anything he says seriously.
Right.
He's a wild card. He's a loose cannon. You don't know what he's going to do.
Exactly.
But Barry Jackson, as of this morning, says Dolphins and Colts remain in discussions on Jonathan Taylor trade. I do not know what will happen in terms of what the Colts will ultimately accept. Everyone would just be guessing. Fluid situation. Today's deadline for a resolution, only a loose deadline.
Now it's loose.
It's a loose deadline.
Right. It wasn't loose last week.
Yeah.
It's loose when a deal's not done.
Right.
Right. It was just a starting point. But here's the problem. The Dolphins have a bigger issue at hand. And I saw this playing out this way. And it sucks because I don't know if Christian Wilkins has any recourse because he's not that guy, right? He's not the guy that's going to be in the media, or he's been the company guy. And what I tell you about company guys, they get run over all the time. And what happened is Christian Wilkins, they haven't, come up with a number yet. They're still negotiating. And mysteriously, numbers get thrown out.
Yes.
And that's the second.
That was yesterday. They started saying, oh, it's in line with this, it's in line with that.
Right. In line, but you haven't given any numbers. Right. And so that's what they're doing.
Which is it's not a move that's unique to the Dolphins. It's
not unique.
That's what teams do. Like once they hit the end of a road, they go, well, this is what we offered, and then the fans are like, oh, you should be happy with that.
That's what they want.
That's what they want.
But here's what I look at it as this. Those guys are 90 for 4 years and 94 for 4 years. Does that sound right?
Those the guys who got the deals?
Yeah. Is it 90 for 4 years? And
let me look. Hold on a second. I sent it to you guys last night, but I forget the exact ones that they put. Tobin, you have a problem.
I wonder who sent that.
Okay, so this was from King of Finland, who was quoting Marcel Louis-Jacques, who's Dolphins ESPN reporter.
Right.
Says, no big secret that Wilkins has an offer on the tail from the Dolphins. I'm almost confident enough to call it a final offer from Miami. The ballpark is right in line with what other D linemen have been paid. It's not at Oliver money. It's right in line with Jeffrey Simmons and Dexter Lawrence. I think it's a situation where Wilkins' team wants to set the market. For reference, Simmons' contract was 4 for 94. Lawrence's was 4 for 90. Simmons got $60 million guaranteed. Lawrence got almost 50.
Okay, so that's 4 for, and so what we're saying is this: that's 23, 22 and a half, 22 and a half a year. Okay,
which is about what the franchise number would be next year.
Right. So, but here's the kicker. So, if Christian Wilkins were to take something similar to that, we don't know what it is. When he says in line, see, here's what you need to understand, right? Because they're probably saying to Christian Wilkins, oh, well, your sack numbers aren't as good as this guy's or this guy's, so we can't give you that much. But it's going to be in line with what those guys got paid. Okay, that's fine. That's great. But we're talking about a couple of $1 million here and there, right? Here's what happens. Say if they gave him 4 years, $100 million, and gave him $50 million to sign. Here's what you need to understand, and this is everybody. And in 2 years, they're going to redo his contract because they're going to need space to sign other people.
Right.
So both sides need to understand that every person, that has come here and signed a big contract, everyone has redone their deal to make cap space.
Yeah, it's always like the maneuver. That's what they always do.
From the Dolphins' perspective, you can do it because you understand that in a couple of years, you're going to ask him to restructure his deal. And from Christian's standpoint, you can also do it because you understand that even though I'm getting this, it's still the guaranteed money.
Mhm.
So go $55 million, guarantee $55 million. Who cares? Because in 2 or 3 years, they're going to come to you and ask you to renegotiate so they can sign somebody else. So, like, I don't understand what the issue is between either one of these guys. I don't understand why, but I'm telling you, the bleep is going to hit the fan if they go out and get Tay and then give him a big contract.
Which they will.
So if I'm Christian Wilkins, now, don't go to Christian Wilkins and tell him, well, we got all these guys we got to sign next year, or we're trying to get Jonathan. No, don't do that.
It's part of the thing with the Sealer contract that kind of made, and I'm happy Zach Sealer got paid. Don't get me wrong. I love Zach Sealer. But it's part of like what kind of makes you raise your eyebrow, because it's like, oh, we don't take care of everyone. No, we took care of somebody just now. We paid Zach Sealer,
Right.
Which is great. It's great for Zach Sealer. It's a great story. He deserves it.
He deserves it.
He was
Like,
he was woefully underpaid.
Here's what sucks about the conversations that we're having with Christian Wilkins. That we're going to start nitpicking and talking about other people's salaries on the team who all deserve their money.
Mhm.
So I'm not having this conversation to say so-and-so got too much, or this person got too much, or this person got too much. Now, here's the other thing. I wouldn't be surprised if more room is made at 4:00 and then Christian Wilkins signs tomorrow.
Maybe.
Right? It's all a possibility.
Mhm.
And then the deal's done with Jonathan Taylor also.
I mean, if they could get somebody to like take Agba off their hands or something like that would definitely open up some space.
I tell you what.
But nobody's going to take him. No one's going to take like Cedric Wilson. Like, these are guys who make a ton of money, but maybe aren't going to be the biggest contributors.
And I feel bad for Agba because here's why. It ain't nothing he's done.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a change in defensive scheme, right? That's it. That's the only reason why this is happening to him. That being said, I don't like when the team comes out when the player hasn't been very vocal. And it goes to my point that the squeaky wheel gets paid and the company guy gets run over. And is there a bigger company guy than Christian Wilkins?
No.
That's the only part that I have a problem with.
He's done everything that they've wanted him to do since he has been drafted.
He is one of the leaders on the team. He's one of the top 3 players on your team.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as importance, and you can tell with them 2 guys out, how the run game was affected for the other team. They ran all over you.
Well, it's funny because like you look at, Lawrence last year and Simmons probably together about 120 tackles between them.
And that's what.
And Wilkins had 98 by himself. Now, yeah, they're
going to nitpick.
They're going to nitpick
sacks?
7.5 each.
Okay.
It's not like double digits. Not Quinn and Williams.
No, I understand that, but here's. I don't like when teams pull numbers like that to discredit a player when you more than anybody know damn well his importance to you. Right? It's a low rent move. It's a low rent move to say, well, those sack numbers aren't as high as the other guys. Meanwhile, the guy had damn near 100 tackles, which is unheard of from that position. He had 16 tackles for loss.
Yep.
Which is it leads everybody. Now
it's what both of them had combined.
Right. So think about this. What's the difference between a sack and a tackle for loss?
One, it's a quarterback, one can anybody.
Right. It's still in the backfield.
Although there is a demoralization to a sack.
I know,
but
think
you know
about
what I'm saying, dude?
But just think about it. The reality is why are you being discredited because you have 16 tackles for loss but only 3.5 sacks? And the other guys have 7.5 sacks and only 16 tackles for loss between all of them. Who's being more disruptive? What about the pass hurries? What about all the times you see Christian Wilkins just in the backfield as a menace? Don't discredit what he's doing.
Yeah, and you can't run on him.
And when you do contract negotiations, especially if a guy is not vocal And he tries to be the company man, and he tries to do everything right by reporting to camp and practicing and getting his work in front of you. And then you turn around and discredit him.
Well, that's the thing. This is the one thing I hate with fans when it comes to this stuff is like, what has changed over the last 3 weeks? Because 3 weeks ago, we were all like, pay Wilkins, pay Wilkins, pay Wilkins, pay Wilkins. And now it's like, greedy.
You know what?
Like,
no, you know what changed? They put the numbers out there.
Because he's not, it's like, let's be real about it. Christian Wilkins not going to hold out the season. He's going to play.
I'm telling you.
He's going to play.
But
like, what is, like, I just want to know from the fans' perspective, you're all Dolphins fans. Everybody loves Christian Wilkins, right? Is there anything to dislike about the guy?
Yep.
Plays his ass off, disruptive. Josh Allen hates him. He's the only guy Vic Fangio will praise.
Right.
Okay. So what's changed over the last 3 weeks? Other than you got one stupid rumor about, it's in line with this, in line with that. Nothing's really changed. Like I think we all think Christian Wilkins deserves big money and deserves, to get paid a big hefty contract. It's just like you get through this malaise of the camp and you're just like, nothing's happened. It's kind of like I think fans feel like every single day Wilkins and Chris Greer are giving each other the double middle fingers.
No,
and that's not the case. Like, it's not what all he's done is not playing stupid team drills and stupid preseason games.
And everybody got hurt and he did go in.
Crazy.
So somebody said, what would you rather have? A running back who ran for 1,200 yards and 3 TDs or 700 yards and 15 TDs? It's a little bit different, right? In that my last 2 years in the NFL, I had 20 plus touchdowns, but only 500 yards. Robert Smith had 1,300 yards and a couple of touchdowns. I would promise you that Robert Smith was always going to make more money than me, right? Because
you got these charlatans like Charles Davis.
So it is a little bit different, but when I say when you look at that position, and here's why I say this: being a disruptor, right? And being a menace in the backfield of an offense, you almost have to include all of those numbers, your tackles for loss or whatever, just to show how disruptive he is. And you can compare that with the sacks of other players, but the tackles for loss aren't there. And does that make them more disruptive in the backfield because they have 4 more sacks? No, it doesn't. And we're going to pick and choose because we want, the Dolphins are going to use these numbers to try to skew it towards what they want to pay him. But the fact of the matter is, you saw what the Dolphins run stop looked like without Christian Wilkins and Zach Sealer. You saw that. Oof. Do you want to take that chance? Oof. Exactly. Oof. Now, I don't care about who you put on offense, who you talk about offense line. By the way, everybody's had problems with the offense line. We'll get to that when we get back.
Leroy!
All right. I'll take the -1.
-1.
Let me just say this. Here's what happened. So I was talking about how I like making people feel uncomfortable. And when I say things, it's because they have something inside of them that makes them feel uncomfortable. I said, but I'm not that guy. Like, I don't try to like hurt people or whatever. It's all in fun. I've always been that way. I don't have it in me. That's why I've never like slipped and oops because I don't know how to. And Tobin responds,
No. What you said was, as much as I talk, Marcos, this is Leroy Horde.
Yeah.
As much as I talk trash, I've never gone too far.
That's exactly what he said. I will say that.
And to which, before we got off the air, I go in, Chunky 52 thinks otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
All right, but wait, let me ask you a question. Did I lie?
It's not nice.
That's so mean.
No, it wasn't. Here, can I just say this?
Yep.
It wasn't that he was chunky. Okay.
The uniform.
It was the uniform. That's why I said it. And I specifically said that. Like, dude, if you're gonna have that body, don't be going out there with a sausage skin on.
Skin?
Yeah, he looked like a kielbasa out there. Like he couldn't even walk.
Never goes too far though.
Never.
No.
So
Wait.
saying that he's in
Never goes
synthetic
too far.
casing isn't
Wait.
going too far.
Wait, was I wrong?
Moving on.
See? Thank you. He don't want to agree with me because
That's so nice. Hey, you want to get your haircut by the Canes and Finn's Barber? We've got a chance to freshen up your look with Steven Rivera, the barber to the athletes. You can enter now. Go to WQM.com/contest. First notable cuts. The Miami Dolphins.
they
According.
say Chunky 52 say keep my number out of your mouth. And I got another message.
Little
for
easy
Chunky
on that,
52.
buddy.
Hey, XL, not medium. That's it.
If you fat shame Tua, you know what's going to happen. Oh, it's scrappy.
I ain't fat shame too.
I know you haven't, but Ryan Clark has, and he felt the wrath.
Yep.
Little easy on that, buddy.
Adam Schefter tweets, the Miami Dolphins are releasing running back
Ahmed.
Myles Gaskin.
What?
Released.
Damn, I didn't see that coming.
Myles Gaskin, so that means they're keeping Ahmed.
It seems like Ahmed has earned a job.
Wow.
It was a toss-up between those two.
That's
right?
not
He had a really good preseason, Ahmed.
So
I feel like
you
he got
can't say
more
you can't-
kicks.
but I think it's like when Ahmed started playing well, they stuck with Ahmed and they never went really back to Gaskin. You know what I mean? So they kind of wanted to see something and they saw it and they kind of just went with it.
Could be one of these things too, like maybe a Myles Gaskin is like, hey, this Jonathan Taylor thing happening because can I go look for another job?
Could
You
be.
know? Like I don't want this hanging in the balance.
I mean, but here's the thing that sucks about being a running back. Where you gonna get another job?
Well, that's a good point. Well, if you're a cheapskis running back, I'm sure someone's gonna pick him up. Like Myles Gaskin doesn't make a lot of money.
Very small though. 5'9",
Yeah, small guy.
very small.
Not a bum though.
No, not
Pretty
at all.
good.
Actually, yeah, not at all.
I think the all the running backs kind of fit that mold nowadays, and there's only a handful of running backs that have a bruiser, and I think more teams are looking for that, right? Just somebody that 4-minute offense at the end of the game, you can just pound it, right? A guy run through arm tackles because it's going to be 8-man boxes and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, what's crazy is, speaking of Chunky 52, guess where Ezekiel Elliott is?
Patriots.
Yeah.
I knew that. Everybody thinks it's gonna be so great, but let me get you. Let me.
No, take it from me.
Let me
No,
learn
it's not.
Let me learn you something. It ain't. Plus,
You-
they got Mac Jones. Dude sucks.
But wait, you want me to tell you why?
What?
Because Ezekiel Elliott can run for 300 yards one week and get 2 carries the following week. I
Sure.
lived it.
Yep.
That's what they do.
But Gaskin gone. Ahmed makes the team. The one guy I think everybody was wondering about was this rookie Chris Brooks. Everybody's been kind of impressed with, along with H. And we know H.N.'s going to make the team.
But here's the deal: they could put him on practice squad.
Yeah, maybe. Unless somebody else, unless he tickles somebody else's fancy.
Why in the hell do you think that unless somebody else picks him up? Who?
Oh.
Like the Dolphins traded a guy we didn't even know was on the team.
Oh, Feeney?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the guy from the Jets with the mullet and mustache, but dude was getting no snaps, like no action.
Which is crazy because they gave him
And
$3
he-
million.
3 million, yeah.
Here's how that here's that, and I wanted to get to this before the break, but I'll do it now. What people have to understand is that I've had conversations with a lot of people in a lot of different cities, and they're all saying the same damn thing about their offensive line as the Dolphins are. I don't know why, right? There's only a handful of teams that are, okay, we got it. Philadelphia, they got it, right? What are the Jets talking about? All camp. Offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland's got it. But you notice the teams that have it, and this is what's amazing to me, and I don't know why this league is so damn stupid. All the teams that run the football really well are not complaining about their offensive line. Oh, look through it. Go look through it. Philly, one of the best in the league. The Browns, one of the best in the league. Tennessee, one of the best in the league. Right? Baltimore, one of the best in the league. Pittsburgh, one of the best in the league. And I don't hear them talk about offensive line like everybody else is.
Yeah, a lot of teams
Why do you think that?
I would say basically every team in the division right now has a big offensive line concern. Jets, it's certainly been a big thing. Bills, Patriots, it's every team in this division right now has been talking about offensive line help.
But why is that? Because those teams don't run the football. That's why.
Well, their quarterback runs.
Oh,
unless he decides to
but
change his ways.
Baltimore's a really good running football team. Their quarterback does run, but they established the run with a running back before it even gets to that point.
Barrett Jackson.
Of course. Here we go.
Dolphins cut rookie center Alama Uluave.
Oh, no.
Dolphins could put him on practice squad, but without Chicago-bound Dan Feeney and Uluave, there's no clear backup center. Liam Eichenberg played backup center in May and June.
Here's what I would tell you, and I've said this 1,000 times. Usually your left guard, sometimes your right guard, but usually your left guard can also play center. So those three guys play substantial amount of time at center. So if they have to bring, it's like a utility player in baseball. You have that in. You usually have a DB who's a utility player, can play some safety, can play some slot, and then you have a guard that can play some center. And so you have the numbers and the bodies to do it. Just because we haven't really seen it being done doesn't mean they don't have a plan for it.
What if Eichenberg just sucks though, and like no matter what position you put him at?
Here's what I would say. There's a difference in sucking and being serviceable, right? When you're talking about backups, because you spend so much money on your top line players, you just need your backups to be serviceable. You're not going to get a top line guy as a backup.
Well, as a person who nobody I know holds customer service more accountable than you, sometimes serviceable is just bad service.
But, okay, what is another option?
Like what if
everybody has the same problem?
But like the guy's like a time bomb. Every time you put him out
there. Clearly, they think more of him than you do.
Do they?
What? Listen, he might be a bad guard and a bad center, but that might be the only guy they have that can play both. That's football now.
Yeah, but what if they just whiffed on evaluation and the guy's just like, oh, all right, well, this didn't work.
They've been watching him for how long?
This is third year.
That would, holy smokes!
What?
That would be a big ass whiff. 3 years?
Yeah.
No, I think they see something that we just aren't privy to. Like you have to take that under consideration. As much as you say a guy sucks, as much as he's still on the team, so that means that they see something in him that we don't. And he's hurt.
Yeah, second round pick.
And he's hurt.
Oh, okay. What's hurt? His pride.
You can't cut him hurt. You ever thought of that?
I'm not saying cut him. I'm just saying, like, just because you're going to move him to center, don't make me feel like that's
he's a backup. What do you expect from a backup?
What about this Ululave,
You didn't even know he played for the Dolphins. Stop it.
He's a talent.
Got a cool name.
Yes.
Take a quick break. Hour 2 coming up next.